Have you got glasses and glasses? Hey, how you all doing? Well, I'm back on this project and on this GMC deck. I really wanted to have the thing, you know, laid out for a little while, so every time I come in here I can give it some thought and decide how I think it's going to look and everything like that. I think the initial thing which really struck me about it is how wide it is compared to how long it is, and that really does give it the look of these flatbed trucks from the time. I'm really pleased with it. It's just not what you'd see now in a modern truck. Spent some time marking out where I'm going to be making my cuts. I have decided that I'm going to run this arch at the moment. I'm going to cut out this piece like that, where that like faint chalk mark is. Push this section back a little bit further. You get the idea. Doing some laser etching at the moment. Once I've finished that, I'm going to cut some wooden templates for this. You can mark out miters and cut them and use a guide and everything like that. But because I've got a laser machine and I've got a copious amount of scrap wood, I can just cut out a template and it works really, really well. I think I'm going to video that, how I do that this time. There's lots of different ways, but I'm a great believer in using tools that you've got. So, right, so I've done my measurements. I've got my pieces worked out. So I've cut the radius that I need, having worked it out with my CAD program. That lines up with a faint line. You can't quite, there you go, it lines up with that line there. So that will allow me to mark that out real nice. And then I can cut that with the grinder, which would be cool. I've also made this one. Yeah, there's different ways you can work out miters and so forth, but having a nice guide there for the grinder blade works quite well. I'm going to be cutting this out here so that it allows for the tyre movement. I might well put, this is like the maximum amount of space I'd need for this tyre, but if I use one of the bigger wheels and tyres like that, it's obviously going to need to have that bit more, so that is an option. These might not be the wheels I use, they're just quite cool wheels I've got. So yeah, first step, double check on my marking out and then cut it out. I'll come back to you when it's done. Right, so this is it marked out. This is it lined up, and I just touch the saw on there, get that cut, then turn it over and do the other side. So that's that first cut done, and as you can see it's barely taken the carbon off the edge of the laser cut part. That's I haven't got my GoPro with me, so I can't film myself doing it. Sorry about that. So apparently it's made it magnetic. But yeah, that's that cut off. That's how I like to cut off miters when I don't have a huge bandsaw. This is kind of a method I've been using in the workshop, in the garage or whatever for years. And it kind of works. And you're going to square it up anyway. But yeah, anyway, thought I'd show you that. I'm going to do the rest now. This one is a little bit new to me. I don't feel like I'm going to be able to get the saw around there without fouling up the wooden template all that much. I don't really want to cut multiple templates, so I feel like maybe I'll get it marked real good. I don't know, we'll see. So I kind of chased it around at an angle, kind of like that, and it hasn't impacted much on the jig, and I've gotten a nice mark there. So I think I'm gonna run with that, I think. So that's that first cut made. It actually went really, really well. You shouldn't really bend these discs as you're using them, so you have to be real careful with that. But it's quite a shallow angle, so I'm okay with it. As long as you keep it moving, you're all right. Both sides are cut. Now it's time just to cut the section on the thin side. And it's pretty neatly done. Let's have a look on the truck. Well, I think that looks pretty good. So this is the two pieces, cut neatly, matching up. Pretty happy with how they are actually. Need to see if I've got some material to make the curve for that inset. Bit of 3mm something or other. So the piece which goes behind the cab is 60 by 100, and I had this cut to the perfect width. It's 6 feet less 4 inches. So the bed is going to be 100% 6 foot wide. So what I'm going to do is use my template, line it up with one end there, mark it off, and then I'll do the same thing at this end. So then that'll make the end piece the exact correct width based on the length of this piece rather than using a tape measure. You know, I'm just trying to show you my process. There you go. First time it's been fully clamped together. I've cut these cross members out on each end so that if the tyre comes all the way up, the bump stop should hit the axle before the tyre hits the steel. Good clearance on that. I've still got to fill in the bottom there. Gonna have to make some pieces up for that. So I've got these two 5mm strips. They'll go across there. Make sure it's all squared up and what have you. Our miters there. We're not quite there. Be a little gap for welding purposes and such. They need beveled anyway. But I'm actually feeling quite proud of it. I think it looks really good. What do you think? All right, another thing. These strips, they're going on the end pieces. So they go on the front edge. That piece will go on the front edge. And then this piece will go on the back. And that'll allow us to clamp in. Now, we want to get the height exactly right. This thing is like floppy, so it's going to be difficult. So you want to clamp it to something. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take two pieces of 5mm thick scrap. I'll set them underneath this box section, so that will make the box section 5mm higher, so that when I clamp it to this piece, it will be the exact same height as that. Clever, hey? Work smarter, not harder. Again, it's me trying to eliminate errors in measurement. So if I clamp that all the way along there and run a couple tacks into it and whatnot, I want to put there'll be some stitch welds in there, so we'll put a bevel on the wood. So you want to weld it on both the top and the bottom. We'll see how it looks when it's done as to whether we put some triangles in or whatever. But yeah, that's how I would go about doing that. I like to think about this sort of thing in the process of it all, because you could have blocks, you could do all kinds of things. You could have a nice flat welding bench, but this is this is using what you've got. I've got a fold-up picnic table and an old steel bench frame, what I made years ago for something else. Work with what you've got, isn't it? Yeah, I've got a nice big workshop. Could always be bigger, but it's better than a single garage. And I've had all this stuff laser cut. Didn't always go right, like this bit here, but this is why you make things adaptable. I don't think I would have made it much different had I have opted to laser cut that one slightly differently, and it was 5 minutes of cutting, so that's fine. I'm rambling on. I've had a good 2 hours working on this today. I've had a good 2 hours working on this project today, and fuck's sake, bloody lights are shocking in here. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching. I'm going to press on with this next time I can, but I thought I will wind this video up now because I know I'm not going to work on it for a week or so. Thanks for watching. Later.